night feels heavy and words go astray, we need more than promises, more than we say. A love without the Spirit, it's a house of sand, but with Ruach's guidance, we'll withstand. Yahweh whispers, don't let go. Through the storm, let His mercy flow. Ruach in our love, holding us tight, bringing peace to the chaos, turning wrong to right. No room for division, just unity strong, with the Yahweh in the center, we'll stay strong. You and I, we're vessels, not perfect but true, with the Spirit moving, He makes us new. When I stumble, you lift me. When you fall, I pray the Ruach gives us strength to face each day. Yahweh's breath, it fills our air, healing hearts, answering prayer. Ruach in our love, holding us tight, bringing peace to the chaos, turning wrong to right. No room for division, just unity song, with the Yahweh in the center, we'll stay strong.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Man, the title of this message is The Diversion. Man, there is a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. And this message specifically is to refocus Israel on what we are supposed to be focused on, especially in these last days. You know, seems like this system is constantly putting something at the forefront to distract you, to be a diversion, and we're going to break that down in fullness today. Man, I hope everybody is doing all right. I hope everybody had a blessed, 6 days worth of work and has strived to enter into this set apart day that the Most High Yah has ordained. Title of the message, The Diversion. Welcome to all and Shabbat Shalom Israel. How to support the ministry? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on and set to all notifications. Share this video. If you would like to give an offering or to donate, link is on the screen as well as in the description box. Agenda: Shabbat Shalom Israel family. In the last days, Hasatan is not primarily attacking believers through open persecution, but through distraction, diversion, and constant noise. The world is flooded with chaos, political turmoil, celebrity scandals, social unrest, and nonstop media cycles designed to pull our attention away from the narrow path. Every week there is a new controversy, a new enemy, a new side to choose, yet Yahweh is not calling his people to take sides in the world system, but to walk in obedience and work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. Left wing and right wing may appear opposed, but they belong to the same bird, the same beast system under Hasatan's influence. When believers become consumed with what the world is doing, they slowly stop moving forward spiritually. Today's teaching is a reminder that the enemy's greatest strategy is not to make you stop believing, but to make you distracted to obey.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave like everyone else. You were born into bondage. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Why are we here today? Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. Strong's number Hebrew word 4399, employment, public business, occupation, industrious, public service. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is with you within the gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Exodus 31:13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahweh Elohim, that doeth sanctify you. What is a diversion? Definition: noun, an instance of turning something aside from its course. See, biblically, we are told to take the narrow path. Few be there that find it. But a lot of this noise, a lot of this chaos, a lot of this distraction ultimately is a diversion to get you to go off course. Secondly, an activity that diverts the mind. Listen to this. It diverts the mind from tedious or serious concerns. What's a serious concern the believers should be focusing on? It's their salvation, which we're told to work out. Only way you're going to work it out is on a daily basis. Okay, it says an activity that diverts the mind from tedious or serious concerns, a recreation or pastime. You got to look at how many hours people spend a day when it comes to their screen time on social media, whether it be, YouTube, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, TikTok. And then when we look at the substance of what it is you're actually watching, are you watching things or taking in things that are going to help strengthen your walk? Or are these things consuming your time, and that's time that you could be, following Yeshua, gaining more discipline, maturing spiritually? We have to think about that. Diversion. Hasatan's rule. Man, the world systems operates under deception. That's part of the control, is to get or to ensure that you are deceived. Okay, Luke chapter 4, verse 5 through 6. Pay attention. Then he led Yeshua to a high mountain, displayed before him all the kingdoms of the inhabited earth, and their magnificence, and in the twinkling of an eye. And Hasatan said to him, I will give you all this realm and its glory, its power, its renown, because it has been handed over to me, and I give it to whomever I wish. So when you think about this, Hasatan has dominion on earth. But the Most High Yah, when we think about the earth in its entirety and everything, outer space, everything, all of that is the Most High Yah's creation. When Hasatan got, kicked out of heaven for trying to exalt himself to the same level of the Most High Yahweh, he was sent to earth, and this is where his dominion is. This is where he's going to do wickedness. This is where he's going to deceive the minds and hearts of the people. So have to understand that this world system operates under deception. When you come into the knowledge of the truth, you are challenging and asking questions where you once were deceived, and now the truth is helping you see where you once were deceived as you come out of Babylon. No political party or movement is exempt from this system. A lot of these systems, of rule, man, they have to do with a lot of them are based in wickedness. When you think about some of the stuff being passed. Okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. Among the God of this world, Hasatan. So when you look behind, the etymology of that word God, you're not getting the etymology of Yahweh. You're getting an etymology that says deities. Among the God of this world, Hasatan has blinded the minds of the unbelieving to prevent them from seeing the illuminating light of the Basora of the glory of a Mashiach, who is in the image of Yahweh. Who's blinding the minds? Hasatan. Here's the deception right here. And when you think about blinding, you can't see. Like I said, same bird, same system. Now, society, Western culture, anywhere where you see that eagle, lets you know that the Roman Empire has stood up. Okay? The eagle is very important to American culture. They want you to be deceived and to believe that the Roman Empire has fallen. It fell in one location, but they stood it up elsewhere. And I've got 4 flags on there, all of them that have eagles, and there's even more of that. And where you see that eagle, you're going to see a country that has been colonized, taken over by, Roman influence. Okay, same thing. Their churches, their places of worship are going to be under rule of the Roman Catholic Church. The eagle, Aquila, represented the supreme power, authority, and divine favor of the Roman Empire, serving as the central sacred standard for every legion. It symbolized strength, courage, immortality and the supreme god Jupiter, acting as a critical, fiercely protected military symbol representing the honor and the soul of the army. Okay, one thing about this eagle, you wonder why countries that have this eagle will go into places that are not westernized, that haven't been colonized, and they will go over there and dominate and take resources and things like that from these countries. And you would ask, man, we're not allies with this country. We're not, in relations with them countries. So why would we be concerned, what's going on in these other countries? And a lot of this has to do with this left-right system. And when you think about, you got a left arm and you've got a right arm, but aren't both of those arms connected to the same body? And when we think about the left and the right, all they do is create arguments against one another. But at the end of the day, they got the same body, the same head. Political divisions and are presented as opposition, but both serve the same worldly structure. Believers are not called to fix Babylon. They are called to come out of her. Listen to what I said. When you get caught up in the deception, you get caught up in the distraction, your mind starts to shift to let me see who is going to fix. Let me stand for which side I think that is going to fix, Babylon, i.e., the world, the country where you live in. And the reality is, let me give you an example. Or I'll save that part for later and give you some further examples. But we are called to come out of her. People get distracted by left wing movement and right wing movement when a bird must have two wings to fly. So in order for that system to operate, there has to be a side that looks like, okay, it's for the people. Then it has to be a side that looks like it's for the people, but exposing the other side and vice versa. And that's how this system keeps going. You got to think, people are giving, every time you think about left or right, you are giving power to a system that really don't care about you. Okay? You have some of these politicians, I'll give you an example. Man, they come in there owning no businesses, on a salary of, less than $100,000. And by the time they leave out of this office, they're millionaires. So they're using this as a stepping stone to continue what they're doing. But when, you shine a light on these people, you're like, wait a minute, something's up. I want you to understand that means the system needs these agendas to distract people. And there's always something. We won't go 6 months without there being some sort of chaos they're pushing. Man, I saw this when I lived in Germany. I saw things that when I was talking to my family, they would say, is this going over here? I heard it's worldwide and it should be affecting over there. But the reality was, I'd be like, no, that hadn't made it here. And and oftentimes it never made it across the pond, but it was a distraction to keep people in the United States distracted. That was the reality of it, because what the United States was blasting out as world news was not world news. But guess what? It made people consumed by it. It captivated your attention, and it was just a diversion. Because a lot of this stuff around the world, as I've been to different countries and lived in different countries, this stuff wasn't making it across the water. It wasn't a worldwide problem. Daniel chapter 2, verse 37 through 38. You, O king, are king of the earthly kings, to whom the Yahweh of heaven has given the kingdom, the power and strength and the glory. And wherever the sons of men dwell, and the beasts of the field, and the birds of heaven, he has given them into your hand, and has made you ruler over them. You, king of Babylon, are the head of gold. Very important. You have to think about, at the end of the day, once I found out that the Electoral College was what, determines who the president is going to be, when you think about the popular vote, people are tuned in watching that popular vote when the Electoral College already tells you who it's going to be. And that's a proven thing. You can go back and look it up. But yet, we got the two opposing sides. They want you to take a stance. They want you to, cheer for this side, and to be distracted. And you waste so much time not even realizing it's the same bird, same system. Can a bird fly with one wing? No. It needs two wings to be able to get lift, to be able to elevate, to get exalted. And these wings on each side, opposing sides, are what exalts this system. But when people stop giving power to each side, man, that system's going to fall. It will fall. Media system distractions. One scandal replaces another. Celebrity scandals, okay? You've got Cosby. You've got R. Kelly. We've got Diddy. They ran that Diddy thing for like a good year and some change. Did he do it? Did he not do it? Trapped in the closet? Is he out the closet? Bill Cosby, put the pudding in your jello. You got Epstein. Everybody, right now, you look at the new wave, it's Epstein files. See, this media system, the distractions, they feed you what they want you to think. They want you to think this thing is black and white. It's left versus right. They want you to think in a certain way, but let me give you how you need to see it. You need to see this as good and evil. Okay? When the Most High Yah, sent the messengers unto Lot, he didn't tell Lot, hey, you need to go to the left wing. You need to be with the right wing. because that's the only way you gonna survive in Babylon. No, he told Lot to get his family up out of Babylon. Okay? You got political corruption. Okay? Think about this. In this current office, we had Doge, which was Department of Government Efficiency, right? So think about this. The last party continued to put the country in debt. Okay? This current party, right wing, red wing, had Department of Government Efficiency, which had people deceived into thinking, okay, we're going to actually try to balance the book. Is that what happened? No. Look at the budget so far. They've already accumulated more debt in this office than any other office prior to them. You got to think, you're not going to get anybody in there to balance the books. The system doesn't operate like that. It wants to keep people distracted because guess what? Let me ask you something. If you've been out there working 20, 30, 40 years and you've been paying into Social Security, I want to ask you, if we owe the amount of money that we owe as a country to other countries, where is this money that they're supposed to be setting aside? Think about that. Okay, the current national debt ceiling, doesn't even take account for the last wars that we have been, or conflicts. They don't call them conflicts. Operation Enduring Resolve, all of these different names. They don't call them wars. But doesn't even take an account for the cost of these wars. They're just covering operating expenses right here. Where's the efficiency in that? Okay? When you go back, I told people before, when you go back and look at the history of Doge, Elon Musk wasn't the first to start Doge. Go back and look when was the first Doge and where it was, and you're going to see, oh man, this is why they come up with these acronyms. See, these elite are very informed to historical things, but they use that as an advantage to deceive. Now, the elect are going to discern how they're moving and realize that they're not doing anything new. They're just running an old play. Okay? So if spending is out of control, why did Doge disappear? Okay, here's another one. Global crisis. There's constantly going to be something pushed on you that's going to represent global crisis. What are we going to do? And it makes people think, do you know this? And what do you think about this and that? And meanwhile, what's one thing you're not doing? You're not focusing on the walk. The events change, but the purpose stays the same. Keep people occupied. So when you think about occupied, okay, every year we got the Super Bowl coming up. One of the biggest events. A lot of people tuning in. But you know what? Again, another Roman Empire tactic of bread and circus. Give the people bread, keep them distracted. So I want you to think about it. How is that helping your walk? How is it getting the set apart, more set apart? How is it promoting obedience? It's just distractions. There's always something. The events change, but the purpose stays the same. Keep people occupied. I said yesterday in my little teaser video why the Amish community, the Mennonite community, is able to unify, is able to build so fast. And guess what? Technologically, man, they're behind the power curve. But when it comes to laboring in the mindset, they are way ahead of the power curve. You got to think about it. You can give them handheld tools, no electricity. You can give 20 Amish men, like I said, tools, no electricity. You can give 20 American men handheld tools, And you know what, man? Them Amish is going to run circles around them. Why? Because they're not distracted. They haven't been diverted off their path. All of this stuff slowly creeps in and causes you to divert the path. You don't see people from that community talking about, I think Cosby did it. You don't see videos of, man, I think Cosby did it. What do you think? Let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know, do you think Diddy was really squirting baby oil on all them jokers and licking their nipples? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Epstein files. What do you think? Let me give you my take, my opinion, how I feel. Man, these are all diversions. These are all diversions. These don't have anything to do with helping people come out or you coming out. Ecclesiastes 1:9. That which has been is that which will be again, and that which has been done is that which will be done again. So there is nothing new under the sun. It's a constant cycle. Constant cycle. Media, system, distractions. Choosing sides. Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. If it is unacceptable in your sight to serve the master, choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your father served that were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you live. But for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. Think about that. We will serve the master. So you got to think, man, there's a lot of deities out there that are in opposition, but only one reigns supreme. That's the Most High Yahweh. The world pressures you to take a stance on every issue. And the stance you take is going to cause somebody to go against you. Okay? Yahweh calls you to stand apart, to be set apart, to be a called out people, a royal, a holy nation, a royal priesthood. Neutrality toward righteousness is not allowed, but obsession with worldly conflict is a trap. Guaranteed trap. I want you to think about this. Think about how far Israel would be if you didn't have any of these distractions. If all you had was the word of the Most High Yah, maybe books and things like that to help you on your journey of learning new things. You got to think, where has as more of this media and these oppositions, these systems push, and more of the algorithm is feeding you stuff, most homes don't even have a librarian anymore. Most people don't even own books anymore. Think about that. What if you only had books? You had the word of the Most High Yah, and you had books that were detailing how you do certain things to get further, in your returning to the old path, to return to an agricultural lifestyle. Think about how much further we would be. I talked about a while ago why the Amish, abstain from technology. And it comes down to, they ask themselves the question of, does it hinder our current way of living? Man, the average Amish dinner is 50 to 90 minutes at the dinner table. Think about that. Think about the dinner table in the modern American home, how short it is. What are you running back to? Running back to be individuals. Running back to be distracted. Running back to see, who posted what. Did you get a notification? All distractions, all a diversion. Yahweh calls you to stand apart. Neutrality towards righteousness is not allowed, but obsession with worldly conflict is a trap. Man, if Israel can understand this, we can unify. We can have a lot more progress. You have to think, if this is all you knew, far as laboring righteously, living the lifestyle that the Most High Yah wanted you to live, man, it would be a force to reckon with. Slow spiritual progress. Distraction doesn't stop you immediately. It slows you down. Then it entertains you. Then it gets based upon that. When you think about Eve biting that fruit, having knowledge of good and evil, man, there is the developing a craving for this foolishness. Gossip, latest scandal. Who's doing what? Who got cheated on? Who's sleeping with who? Who's hooking up with who? Who's having an orgy? Who's having a gangbang? Who's the latest to do X, Y, and Z that ain't got nothing to do with nothing? Then it starts becoming entertaining. You need it as a fix. And then it immobilizes you. It shuts you down spiritually to where your anointing is a flame that's going out. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great of a cloud of a witness who by faith have tested to the truth of Yahweh's absolute faithfulness, stripping off every unnecessary weight and the sin. Some of this stuff is weighing us down. Weighing us down. Our loyalty to these parties, to these agendas, to the movements. Stripping off every unnecessary weight and the sin which so easily and cleverly entangles us. Listen to that. This is an entanglement. The system wants you entangled. And all of this stuff. You got to think, man. When you call yourself a believer, and the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up, that alarm goes off, man, your first initial actions prove whether you're entangled or not. Okay, some people say, let me check my messages. Let me scroll on YouTube. Let me get on TikTok, scroll 5-10 minutes. Let me get on Facebook. Let me watch a couple videos. Let me check the news, see what's going on in the world. Man, you're entangled. You got to think, the Most High Yah could have sent them death angels after you, and you could have, that could have been the end of you in this physical realm. You could have been penned in judgment. Rather than having the mind to say, you know what, first thing I do in the morning, because it is a blessing to see another day, thank the Most High Yah, man, we're so distracted. And that whole thing, y'all, want you to think about how when you wake up in the morning and you give the Most High Yah his praise and his glory, set your mind on the Most High Yah, man, that shapes your whole day for righteousness. But if you miss that very key fundamental thing, and it happens over time. You got a lot of people that did what I'm talking about far as giving the Most High Yah his praise, his glory, first thing when they wake up. Let me get the Most High Yah his time before I give anything else or anybody else my time. And then what starts happening, man? You download one new app on your phone. And that app, when you start to look at your screen time, start to consume your time. Not only do you give it 10-15 minutes when you wake up and you're laying in the bed, but, when you're on the way to work, you put your phone in the holder and you're watching it then. When you get a little break in between waiting on a meeting to start or something at work to go on, you get to work early, what are you doing? You're not spending that time with the Most High Yah. You're spending that time letting the algorithm feed you what you clicked on, and it led to a chain effect of getting fed this stuff. Most people can tell you about the different events or the latest word on the streets, but can't tell you when is the last time they sought out deliverance or have been delivered from anything. Some people always have the things of the world in their mouth, and for that reason, it's like they avoid deliverance. And this stuff is taking root in you. Hebrews 12:1. So, man, we have to strip off this unnecessary weight, these unnecessary anchors. Every time you're tapped in to something that takes your focus off of the Most High Yah, it's like a lanyard or a rope and a boat anchor tied to you. You gonna move slow. And it happens over a course of time. Easily and cleverly entangles us. Let us run with the endurance and active persistence the race that is set before us. Man, we got our own path. We have our own agenda of righteousness that we need to be focused on. We don't have time to waste. You go read Matthew 24, you don't have time to wait. You don't have time to be worrying about the Denovians. You don't have time to worry about this stuff that doesn't concern you. Guess what? Okay. Man, you got people out there that was concerned with Israel and Hamas, seeing what happened over there. But you know what they're not doing on their home front? Preparing. Because when you read Matthew 24, you read about the last days and difficult times coming. The Most High Yah gives us prophecies to let us know what's going to come. And when you're distracted, you don't think about preparing. See, people laugh. I want you to think about Noah building that ark. That message being given to him. Man, that joker. And they look at you like a weirdo, man. That joker crazy for building that ark. What is this fool doing? He ain't going to need that. And then that first drop of water hit. Game changer. That first drop of water hit and people realize, oh snap. There's a possibility that there could be more of this. And you know what it led to? It led to a flood. We can't afford to be like the people that's walking by, ridiculing, making fun of, saying that dude's weird because he was locked in his purpose. Focus. Looking back includes mental and emotional fixation on the world. We're told as believers to come out from among them, but many have come out while their mind still looks back. You physically out. You're physically out. You might be in rural area. You might be far off in the boondocks. You may be physically out. But when you think about it, it is this. It's this phone that is your way in back. So your mind is, instead of being out and focusing on the agricultural lifestyle, returning to the old path, strengthening your skills, focusing on, things that we need to focus on, this little thing right here becomes your gateway back. This is your version of Lot's wife. You made it out, but yet you want to hold on to whatever's back in the world. Lot escaped while his wife got distracted, turned into a pillar of salt. Luke 9:62. But Yeshua said to him, no one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back to the things left behind is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. Psalms 119, verse 15. I will meditate on your precepts and thoughtfully regard your ways, the path of life established by your precepts. Worldly chaos. I want you to, if you don't believe what I'm saying, I want you to put a timer on your phone. From the time of this message, put a timer 6 months out. Put a note of what's currently going on in the world that you know of, and I guarantee you, within 6 months, the same stuff or a new chaos will be had. I can guarantee you that. When you think about this, see, the Most High Yah, when he gives you the fruit of the Spirit, he gives you peace. This world is feeding you chaos. See, a lot of people have the fruit of the Spirit, but they're inviting in the chaos of the world. And then for that reason, you start moving and maneuvering based upon the chaos. But it ain't got nothing to do with the walk. See, you cannot fix the world, but you can work on fixing you. See, we need to be in the mindset of, getting this wickedness up out of us. We need to be in the mindset of bearing good fruit, bearing the fruits of repentance, being accountable, learning how to get deeper in this walk, learning how to get more spiritually mature. Trying to fix the world will drain you spiritually when your efforts should be to work out your own salvation. The Most High Yah ain't never told you to try to go out here and fix Babylon. He didn't send Lot out here to fix Babylon. No, he said, Lot, you gonna get the heck up out of here. 1 John chapter 5, verse 19. We know for a fact that we are of Yahweh, and the whole world around us lies in the power of the evil one, opposing Yahweh and his precepts. Whose hand does it lie in? The power of the evil one, the wicked one, Hasatan. And what for? To oppose Yahweh and his precepts. We can't be distracted by this stuff. There's always, 10 years from now, there's going to be something else that the people are distracted by. There's going to be something else that the left wing, the right wing is pushing. But the head, the body is the one saying, hey, left wing, you push this. Right wing, you push this. And we're going to see if we can stir up enough stuff. Man, your salvation, your walk with the Most High Yah is personal, not political. Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. So then, my dear ones, just as you as always obeyed my instruction with enthusiasm, not only in my presence, but now much more in my absence, continue to work out your salvation. So at no point is the work done. Continue. This is a continuous work to work out your salvation. That is to cultivate it, bring it to full effect, actively pursue spiritual maturity with an awe-inspired fear, trembling, using serious caution and critical self-evaluation to avoid anything that might offend Yahweh or discredit the name of Hamashiach. So let's say it. You standing with this side, you standing with that side. And that side has something that is opposed to the Most High. Well, you said you was on that side, so guess what? You become an ambassador of that. But does the Most High Yah tell us to be ambassadors of the left or the right, the red, the blue? Like I said, same body, same head, same bird. Or are we supposed to be ambassadors of righteousness amongst this chaos? See, we cannot get focused on trying to. You can look back, at every president, and you can look at some things that they have said, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you can go back, and it don't matter which side it was, they pulled the wool over people's eyes. Deceived. They did not do it. Oftentimes, they didn't even have the power on their own to do it. But yet, the goal was to get you deceived. At judgment, you won't be asked what party you're a part of or what's your take on the latest scandal. Guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. Not with all this sin in the book that, Christianity tells you, oh, the law was done away with. Oh, guarantee you ain't going to be asked what party you're a part of or what's the latest scandal. You will be evaluated on were you obedient? Were you faithful? Did you endure? Those that endure to the end will be saved. You got these religions that tell you, soon as you repeat after me, you already saved. That's all you got to do is repeat after me. That makes null and void enduring to the end. So there's some in-between work till we get to that end that we got to be doing. And this diversion, it wants to make sure that you don't complete that middle portion. From the moment you say, Most High Yah, please forgive me. I want to walk in your ways. I want to fear you. And you start off on that. You start off coming out. And you going away from that wide path to that narrow path. But then here comes Hasatan. He know he can't compete with the truth of the Most High Yah. So what is he going to do? Cause a diversion. Get you to turn your head to say, look what's going on over there on the left side of this narrow path. Look what's going over here on that right side of the path. And pretty soon you done veered off. And you done got in line with everybody else. Wide is the gate that lead to destruction. Man, this is warfare, spiritual warfare to fight for your heart. Hasatan is fighting for your heart and your loyalty. Anger, fear, pride, and outrage distract us from repentance. Y'all was in the business of refining hearts rather than systems. You don't read that the Most High, you got to think, okay, when we was in Egypt, The Most High Yah didn't send Moses in there to try to fix the Egyptian system. No. He pulled the Israelites out. Okay? You think about Lot, like I said in Babylon. He didn't send messengers to Lot, hey, Lot, you're gonna be the one and you're gonna represent the left or the right, and you're gonna fix Babylon. And your wife is gonna be the first lady. No, Lot, get your butt up out of Babylon. Y'all was in the business of refining hearts rather than systems. All these diversions and distractions have one purpose, to capture your heart. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Watch over your heart with all diligence. Be on the lookout. Why? For from it flow the springs of life. If you don't guard your heart, makes it very easy for Hasatan to creep in. And before you know it, your lips think about this. Your lips gonna say you serve the Most High Yah, but your lifestyle does not show servitude unto the Most High Yah. Your lifestyle is gonna show servitude, faithfulness, and loyalty to the beast system. You got people in Israel like that don't even realize that they've been diverted. Matthew chapter 6, verse 21. For where your treasure is, therefore also there is your heart, your wishes, your desires, that on which your life centers will be also. Discipline over distractions. The more disciplined you walk, the less power distractions have over you. Obedience and the word of the Most High Yah, his will, his way, adhering to Torah, restores clarity and peace. You got to understand, when the Most High Yah gives you the fruit of the Spirit, and part of that being peace, oftentimes we're not mindful of who we allow in once converted. You know, the different things, whether it be the media, the music that we allow in, and then you start feeling the pressures of chaos. Chaos puts pressure on you. It'll stress you out. Things that don't even concern you will start to stress you out. Things that the Most High Yah don't even want you trying to wrap your mind around, don't want you wrestling with, because he doesn't. Your mission is not to figure this stuff out. It's not to solve that problem. Your mission in life is to solve what's going on in here. Why, when you look at a brother or sister, you automatically got jealousy, envy, bitterness. Why, he wants you dealing with that pridefulness, that haughtiness of mind, that tongue. Rather than receiving wisdom, want to clap back. He wants you dealing with the you problem. Not the beast system problem, not the world problem. You ain't going to fix that. When it's all said and done, if you read Revelations, the remnant is going to survive this thing. But if you caught up in trying to fix this beast system and making that your purpose, man, you already off the path. This is why these people, I want you to think, you have those that get persecuted for righteousness' sake in the book, and then you get those that get persecuted for worldly sakes. And people think, man, I want to go out like that joker because he died for the left. He died for the right. But guess what you didn't stand for? Righteousness. You were standing back in every agenda and every movement on your particular side, but you didn't fight the good fight. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. But first and most importantly, aim at. Set your eyes on, set your sights on, strive after his kingdom and his righteousness. His way of doing and being right. The attitude and character of Yahweh. And all these things will be given unto you. AI and algorithm. Algorithm. Some people think this is something that, has feelings, has emotion, is highly personable, but algorithm, noun, a process or set of rules to be followed and calculations or operations, especially by a computer. I'll give you something. You know, YouTube has been pulling certain content creators off that are exposing truth. Okay? And this is across the board. I posted something in my community tab. You had these people that were posting good information to inform people, and the algorithm, which is enforcing the community guidelines, is removing these videos. I thought it was only me for a while till this video came across, and a guy was I would say very cautious of certain words that he used so the algorithm didn't flag that video. But guess what? If you want to post a challenge, you want to post you eating toilet paper or some foolishness to keep you distracted, man, that will get exalted to the zenith. The algorithm will push that forth because it's keeping people asleep. But if you're trying to awake people up, awaken people, oh yeah, they're pulling videos left and right. So on this channel, you might catch me do an occasional live. You might catch me catch my Shabbat message on here, but I have been weathering the storm on this channel because they're pulling so much information, and content creators across the board that are promoting truth or exposing things that we need to pay attention to are dealing with this. Okay? A process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or operations, especially by a computer. Be mindful of the things you watch, you click on, because you will be fed more of it to the point you are completely distracted. It's like going to a buffet. All of this chaos, all of this distractions, all of this noise is like a buffet. And you got something watching you, listening to you, active listening to you. That dot on your phone, when you see that dot on your phone, it lets you know it's actively listening. That's why you need a mic lock to turn that off, okay? It's like going to a buffet of chaos. And you say, let me get a little bit of world chaos. Let me get a scoop of that world chaos. The algorithm is going to say, okay, this person likes the scoop of world chaos. Okay? Another person might come along and say, man, let me get a scoop of what rapper or celebrity is cheating. And it's going to feed you more and more of that. If you got some bitterness in your heart and you say, man, let me get a scoop of this scorned, bitter man or woman, the algorithm is going to continue to feed you that. Men and women out here, if you like sexually immoral or provocative stuff, that algorithm is going to feed you more of it once you click on it. How many times have you watched one video about any particular thing, and the next thing you know, your whole feed is full of it? Now they're using AI to drive the algorithm. YouTube has said, man, there is not anybody behind there controlling this thing. It's algorithm driven. That is the head of YouTube has said this. Every click you make is data that tells the algorithm what to feed you. Conclusion. As we close, remember this truth. There will always be something happening in the world to demand your attention, stir your emotions, and pull your focus away from Yahweh. Scandals will come and go. Governments will shift from left to right, red to blue. The world will remain under the same dominion it has always been under. Hasatan. Hasatan does not need believers to abandon the faith. He only needs them to become distracted, entertained, and emotionally invested in things that do not contribute to their salvation. Because guess what? If you work out your salvation, you didn't crack the code. You cannot fix the world, but you can work out the conditions of your own heart through obedience to Yahweh. In the last days, let us refuse the noise, reject the diversions, and keep our eyes fixed on Yahshua. Walking forward without looking back. The path is narrow, the time is short, and the focus is no longer optional. Man, I hope I said something today to stimulate thought and to edify you, because there's always going to be something. And if Hasatan can divert you off the path or ensure that some people will, I want you to think about this. Man, you are absolutely blessed beyond belief to even be on this path. I want you to think about how many people on the first day, on Sunday, are going to get an ear ticklish message. Nothing provoking them to walk in righteousness, to be ambassadors of the kingdom, but rather to be ambassadors of a religion. But yet, here you are, Israel, on this path and getting messages to strengthen you on this walk, to ensure that you don't veer left, you don't veer right, you stay on that straight and narrow path. One thing about a narrow path is, man, it's straight, there's not much margin for error, and we got to stay locked in. You don't want to be like a train that gets derailed. And that's what Hasatan is hoping, but the vast majority, the word says only a remnant will be saved. Think about that. You're part of the remnant. Rest of the world, deceived, distracted, diverted. Never will go from that wide path leading to destruction. Few will find this narrow path. But here you are. All praise to the Most High Yah. Yahweh knows we need that healing. I tell you, rather than seeking out the concerns and issues and chaos of the world, seek out deliverance. Examine your own heart. Try to get all of that wickedness up out of you. Chip away at it, little by little. If the deliverance doesn't get you the desired outcome, go back and get some more. You got to think that's the mindset we have when it comes to chaos, foolishness. Well, that didn't really satisfy my need for foolishness, so let me scroll and get some more. No, we need to be doing that same thing, but in the opposite direction. Righteousness. Glory to the King. The King is coming. Turn from your sins. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Close to the Yah Ministries, kicking that thing gun barrel straight.